Hello, my name is Marcela. I am a pre-service teacher, and with this podcast, we try to show different ways to teach.
I am Diego Martinez. I am also a pre-service teacher, and we are students of the Faculty of Education at UPB.
The educational field is called to promote different aspects that constitute individuals, so it has come up with some suggestions to approach those goals, but how accurate those suggestions are in terms of what the local context looks for, that is a question that has been in tension since learning a second language has become, if not mandatory, one of the most important points on education in terms of the aim for globalization. Now, the language is not an established feature of the communication aspects of a determined society. In this sense, language should be taught not as a generic way to communicate, but as a more contextualized one, so the interaction will be supported on real-life issues. The government, through the education system, has been proposing a vast variety of procedures that are intended to be developed within the context that took stage on the different conceptions of schooling, from the very basic education to the higher education, which aims to provide the tools for perhaps professional life. In this regard, it is important to get immersed within those contexts in order to get a broader horizon, not only in terms of what and how to teach, but also in terms of what resources are meant to be used, which are the most suitable to be used, and so on. This is indeed a pretext to go beyond those methods, those ways and procedures to teach, and start not only observing but also interacting through them. Let's look for some in-service teachers that may allow us to approach from a better perspective that different conception of English language teaching. Based on your experience teaching here in Colombia, what kind of changes in terms of the policies disposed do you think the education system should take place?
There should be some changes in guidelines in our educational curriculum, both in classroom and in the environment, with the following suggestions. Language should be practical oriented by taking some lessons to the environment that these lessons can have a practical enhancement to enable real environmental traditional feel to the practical language in language interaction. Secondly, there should be frequent dynamic and pragmatic change towards the approach to the use of language in a contemporary way, where language communication must not only base on theoretical but practical perspective. Thirdly, language communication should be looked beyond socio-linguistical and traditional pragmatic use, but rather relate to the broad interdisciplinary approach that cut across all conceptual aspects in linguistical field. With this implementation, I think language usage will be more attractive in all kinds of fields and will enhance good communication, and this will motivate all kinds of people in order to use foreign language as many times as they want.
We agree when he thinks that language could be more practical than theoretical, but in what terms? This perspective is the starting point of a reflective question. how to change these theoretical practices while maintaining curriculum instructions based on the Common European Framework. This involves going beyond the instruction and breaking with the paradigms. We as pre-service teachers believe that English teaching in Colombia is a big challenge that even the Plan Nacional de Bilingüismo cannot achieve. As Sanchez says, Colombia is a country with a low level of English, which can be verified by quantifying the proportion of students and teachers at levels related to low language proficiency, and in the qualifications of the Colombian exams that measures the development of different language skills. This situation is persistent as there are no significant advances in student achievement in standardized English tests. This reflects how far we are from achieving the objectives of bilingual progress proposed by the Ministry of Education for 2019. For this reason, it is recommended to adjust them. How do you think the teaching practices could be appropriated in terms of the surrounding context and the aspects it covers?
Okay, in my opinion, we are educating our students to be global citizens, so to adapt the curriculum guidelines at the foreign language standards and the way they can reflect the new language ecologies, we need to understand the students' environment and emphasize on the social changes that students are facing every day. So it is necessary to approach the topics from a methodology that address the problems faced by the students and their communities.
The teacher perspective is very positive for us. It sounds as if those aspects of the guidelines were very easy to apply. Also, within her discourse, she aims to show English as a result of globalization. We agree with this, but we think that we need to teach in context before we adopt and adapt external methods or methodologies to teach. Hey, dear colleagues, teach from the students' necessities and show them English not only as an obligation or a demanding issue, but a way to transcend in terms of learning. Let's look at this quotation of Paulo Freire. The starting point of education is in the cultural, ideological, political, and social context of students, regardless of whether this context is ruined.
Based on your experience as a pre-service teacher, how do you think the policies and the practices are compassed? Why do you think it's important to reflect on that topic?
Sebastian, and study to be an English teacher. I think the key is in the way in which teachers are being trained, because they are who can break this impossible paradigm about English is difficult to learn. In this science, didactic play an important role to open minds and to change the perspective about this language. According to the proposal of Ministry of Education, I as a pre-service teacher, I propose that different disciplines should combine between themselves to achieve an integral ending. It means the work is basic English aspects inside the other subjects as Spanish. The humanities should be a process focused on every person training who help the society when he or she ends the school.
Within the podcast, we pretend to show a variety of aspects that surround the educational field and those aspects that work as a means to start looking beyond what is established. From this, we consider quite important to integrate these type of conceptions from a preservist teacher. Now, what he says tends to be part of a transformation in which the students look for being included within the different processes that take place inside the educational field. In this regard, Guerrero and Quintero posed the idea that the interest of the authors of these standards is to direct people's behavior by limiting what students must know in terms of the language. It means the policies have been putting apart the students' conceptions, and that's quite problematic. And all participants in the field should take part of the construction of those items that aims to guarantee certain proficiency in the individuals. Now, how can we update the curricular guidelines and the EFL standards to reflect the new ecologies our students are facing inside and outside of the classroom regarding English and really be up to date with the new suggestions for the curriculum?
Juan David Vargas. I am an English teacher in a public school named Octavio Harry Jacqueline Kelly. I think this question can be split into three parts. The first one, how can we update the curricular guidelines and the EFL standards? Okay, we do it in a way that try to be up to date with the new technologies and the information technologies that are up there. We also, at the beginning of the year, the teachers of this school, we make a meeting in which we talk about the different activities, different trends, new projects that we are going to start to work on. So this is supposed to reflect the new language ecologies. I'm not familiar with that term, but I think it is important to make a small approach to it. Our students are facing inside and outside of the classroom regarding English and really be up to date with the new suggestions for the curriculum. Okay, I think that most important first is to be open, for teachers is to be open-minded to new ideas, to change constantly the way we teach. I hate what they call the petrified knowledge, which is that when you are in your comfort zone and you spend a lot of years doing the same thing, teaching the same topics in the same way, you are going to standard in a bad way. We are going to standardize just one way to teach and just one way of our students to get the lesson. So we have to be up to open-minded if we want to accept new ideas in order to share those new ideas with the students. Inside and outside of the classroom, I can say that Medellin is living like a new times, a new time where we can put into practice a lot of things that we're learning.
Based on the things he has said, the discussion around the gap between theory and practice tends to wider since the traditional conceptions have ruled in a vast variety of contexts. From this proposal, we can let a new discussion open since it would take quite long to be approached. This is then, as Larsen Freeman poses, integrate the students' needs. So the needs will be apparent to a teacher who is observant and his students' behavior. It means not proceed with the assessment process if the contingencies from the students are not taken into account. In this sense, we can assume that social interaction and its aspects tend to broadly influence on how those teaching and learning processes take place. So in relation with that, Dongo asserts that the sociocultural factors have quite importance on the evolution of the thought. on the things that surround how people think and interact with others. These factors are then so empowered inside the specific context in the students show lots of aspects belonging to their own contexts. Now, based on the things we have said before and what we have discussed through the podcast, it is suitable to bear in mind the importance of knowing how to deal with the language in terms of nowadays requirements. In this sense, McDougall poses that bilingualism is starting to take a new role in Colombia. Schools and universities are not concerned with just learning English anymore, but are more concerned as to what students can do with the new language. This alludes mainly to the recognition of a social use of a language, as it is posed within the Common European Framework. It refers to the socio-cultural conditions of language use.
According to Chacon, one of the current challenges in the field of English teaching is the need to promote to the teachers a critical reflection on their pedagogical practice. The lack of appropriate methods and strategies for English teaching is related with the ignorance of the linguistic theories and methods that support the language teaching. In general, it is supposed that English teachers are prepared both in his basic training and in his area of specialization to teach the language, but unfortunately the reality tends to show the opposite.
Buenas tardes, excuse me. ¿Hablan ustedes inglés?
No, la verdad no.
¿Cómo que no? Eso es fácil. Diga las cosas que sepa y listo. ¡Ay!
Ah, thank God. Finally I found someone who can speak English.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, hi again. It's my first time in Bogota, and I need to go out of the city because a friend is waiting for me in Tuna. Can you tell me where the bus terminal is?
Repeat, please.
I'm sorry. I'm going to repeat slowly to you because it's my first time in Bogota. I need to go out of the city because a friend is waiting for me in Tuna. Can you tell me where the bus terminal is?
Ah, ¿cómo es? ¿Tunja?
Yes, Tuna. My friend is waiting for me and I need the bus terminal.
Tunja. Ah, hágale derecho, right.
Right.
Yes, right. Derecho, mijo, hágale derecho.
The right direction?
Yes, right. Derecho. ¿O no, José?
What's your name?
Oh, my name is John. What's yours? Are you sure you can speak English?
Yes.